It's sundown, so what does Sayid do after that tear-jerking story? Drown him, of course. Lennon rushes in and yells, "You fool, he was the only one keeping him out." To which Sayid replies, "I know. Ooh." And then Sayid tries to think of another killing move that he hasn't done yet this episode, so he slits Lennon's throat. So what's Dogen's relationship with the ash that's repelling the monster? Because throughout this season, and also at the beginning of this episode, we know that the monster can't cross the ash, but once Dogen dies, he can. And Flock knows this too as he sends Sayid to kill Dogen so he can cross the ash. And one idea is that the ash is actually like a cross in vampire films, and the only way to repel a vampire with the cross is if you have faith. Little ash circles, like the one that Bram made at the beginning of the season, can repel the monster a lot easier probably than large ones like the ones surrounding the temple, because the small ones only require a single man's faith to repel the monster. Dogen was the leader and guardian of the temple, so maybe it's from his faith that prevented the monster from penetrating the large ash circle that surrounded the temple. And maybe this is why Dharma built that large sonic fence around their perimeter, because they didn't have a Dogen-like persona. Maybe they just didn't know about the ash or couldn't make the ash like Dogen can. Another idea is that the ash is not regular ash. Maybe Dogen is the only one that knows how to make the ash, and when he died it lost its purpose. Maybe the ash is actually from Jacob. Who knows? This scene with Lennon is similar to the murder of John Lennon, who Lennon in Lost is similar to. When Mark Chapman shot John Lennon, Jose Perdomo yells, "Do you know what you've done?" Similar to Lennon of Lost yelling, "Do you realize what you just did?" And Mark Chapman smiles and answers, "Yes, I just shot John Lennon," similar to Sayid who says, "I know." At this, the loud elephant Viking horn of the monster roars and invades the temple, owning everyone in sight. It basically does this to everyone. Back in the pit room, the monster forces Kate to jump into the hole with Claire as it flies above her head. I seriously thought Claire was going to lunge on her and take a bite out of her neck like a zombie. And it's really hard to tell what's in the smoke, but there's definitely something moving from left to right as I play in slow motion here, just a little bit slower than the smoke train itself. Something with sharp edges, as we can see, moving over the hole. Whether it's just a body the monster collected or if it's a soul of some sort within Smokey, we just don't know. Some people swear they can see Kate's horse in there. We can also see a couple bright lights within it, and when they pass by, it sounds like a piercing shriek or a scream. And just a reaction on Kate's face when she sees the object pass by inside Smokey. It goes from a look of fright to a sense of awe. In another room, Ilana, Frank, Sun, and Ben barge in as Ilana asks Miles where Shepard, Reyes, and Ford are. I think it's important to note here that she asks where these 3 non-crossed-off candidates are and refers to them by their last names. Ilana looks at the wall with the hieroglyphics on them and finds the one that she's looking for, pushing it to reveal the secret passageway that Hurley and Jack used to escape. The hieroglyph she's looking for and eventually pushes is called a Shen ring. In Egyptian culture, it symbolizes eternity and protection, and also represents a dual concept of time, maybe like dual realities. Ilana seems to know a lot more than she's letting on. She seems to know who's a candidate by asking for Shepard, Reyes, and Ford, but she doesn't ask for Kate, which is interesting because, as we know, Kate's name is crossed off as a candidate. And then when she asks where Jarrah is and Ben runs off, she yells out to Ben, "Linus, wait," like she somehow knows what happened to Sayid and that he's set apart from the other candidates now. She also doesn't ask about Jin, who she thought would be there originally. Maybe that means she's getting updates from Jacob like Hurley's been getting. Ben goes off to find Sayid and finds him at the pool. Sayid looks possessed and gives him a sinister smile as Ben runs away like a sissy. The last scene was pretty cool. Kate and Claire stroll into the courtyard where the Catch a Falling Star song is being sung by otherworldly voices. Flock is surrounded by 15 others as Kate and Claire join him. And this is interesting, 2 of the people here were also the ones guarding the door when Smokey attacked. Flock gives Kate a look like, "What you doing here?" and then turns around and leads the group away. Now let's talk about the Man in Black and his bargains, or the offers to people, and the question is he telling the truth to them, like Claire reuniting with Aaron and Sayid reuniting with Nadia, or is he lying? Well, I think he's lying in the sense of he's not telling the exact truth, but a variation of it. I think it seems like he's making offers to them just so they can join his side. All of these offers will probably come true if and when the Flash Sideways timeline merges or becomes a single reality, replacing the original timeline. This means that the Man in Black is taking advantage of a situation he knows exists, which is the Flash Sideways timeline. If the Flash Sideways timeline does become a single reality, then the Man in Black will be keeping his promises, because as we know, he promises Claire that she'll be reunited with Aaron, and in the Flash Sideways timeline, she is reunited with Aaron. She has Aaron and keeps him. And then he also promises Saeed that he'll be reunited with Nadia, and in the Flash Sideways, he is reunited with her, even though they're not together, she is not dead. And then also he promises Sawyer that he'll go off the island, and as we know in the Flash Sideways, they're all off the island. As he says in this episode, I do everything I say, so technically his offers of being reunited with loved ones would come true if and when this happens. And another idea is that he is actually responsible for creating the Flash Sideways timeline. Whether this means a replacing of timelines or killing them so that their only reality would be the Flash Sideways timeline, we just don't know yet. And it's important to note here that he doesn't actually give any direct promises to them, like to Saeed. All he says is, "What if you could?" in response to the question of never being able to see his lost love again. Now let's talk about Saeed a bit. His actions in this episode in relation to Flock are very similar to the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith movie when Palpatine tempts Anakin with promises of bringing Padme back from the dead. And this is what caused Anakin to join the dark side, similar to Saeed, and did whatever Palpatine or Flock asked of him, which included the killing of the entire Jedi Order. When Anakin took out the top Jedi, like Saeed took out Dogen and Lenin, it allowed Palpatine to take out everyone else, like Flock could exterminate everyone else. Could just be a coincidence, but as we know, the writers love Star Wars and put a lot of references to it in the show. Alright, time for this week's round of Gus's Photo Hunt. First off, congrats to Macho564. You were the first one to figure out somehow that this little part of this picture actually belonged to this picture of Locke and Walt in the backgammon. So congrats. On our website, you won a nice virtual trophy. Here's the one for this week. Again, I'll try to make it a little harder, even though you guys seem to always get it. But what is it? Once again, the only way you guys can win is if you send a video response to this video. Okay, now for the unanswered questions of this episode. I only got 2 for you guys this week. The first one is, where do you think Sawyer and Jin are? And the last one is, how did Dogen's death allow Flock to enter the temple? I really want to know what you guys think, so leave your opinions down in the comment section below. And if you guys want to put your ideas in a video response, I'll show it in next week's recap. Alright guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Last week we got some great responses to the question of, what do you think the last scene of Lost will be like? And if you want to see those responses, click the video right down there and go down to the comments section. Next week's episode is called Dr. Linus, so it's obviously about Sun. Nah. Anyways, I'll see you guys next Sunday. Please subscribe if you guys like these videos. It'll really help me out. I'll see you guys then, and God bless.